Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to a brand new episode of Friday Night WrestleCast. I'm your host, Richard Billay Jr., and tonight I'm joined by Mr. Adam Vale. How's it going, Mr. Vale?
What's up, humans? Get ready for... I forgot what I was going to say. Happy birthday, everybody.
Oh, whoa. I don't know where that came from. That's very random.
There's a bunch of people out there. It's their birthday. Somebody listening is going to be like, oh, man, he remembered.
Sure. We're also joined by Miss Dana Abercrombie. How's it going, Dana?
It's going wonderful, and happy birthday to everyone as well.
Yes, absolutely. So, yes, we thank you all for checking out last week's show. We did give our predictions for Extreme Rules. We will more than likely talk about our thoughts on the pay-per-view a little bit later on. But before we get to any of that, we're going to have Dana.
Wait, do you hear that?
What's that?
Richie, do you hear that?
Do I hear what?
Bobby.
Oh, yeah.
People chanting Bobby because you know what? Bobby won that match.
I only hear one person chanting for Bobby. So
I only hear you.
I called it. I told you Bobby's going to go strong. And he's going to win that match clean. And he did.
Well, we'll get into that because I do have some comments to say about that.
And there's nothing else for him to do.
Oh, boy. Still drinking that Gatorade. Oh, man.
Well, no.
And it's sweet.
Well, we'll come back to that. Before we talk about Extreme Rules, let's get into some of the news topics from this week. So, Dana, the floor is yours, and Adam, cue the music.
All right. So first, we have to start off with a little bit of some sad news today. Wrestling icon Jerry the King Lawler, he's fine, he's alive, but he revealed that his friend, WWE ring announcer Howard Finkel, the Fink, is suffering from major health problems. Lawler confirmed that the Fink's condition as he spoke on his weekly podcast, Dinner with the King. The 68-year-old said Howard is in really, really bad health. Not good at all. Finkel was officially the first ever employee of the WWE and has worked with the McMahon family since 1975. As you guys know, he is beloved by everyone, including the all-ring announcers, the fans, the backstage crew, and Vince McMahon himself. He was last seen on TV during the 25th anniversary of Raw when he introduced The Undertaker. So, hope he is doing well. Prayers up for him.
I don't remember. I knew he was there, and I remember watching that show, but I didn't take a good look at him. Did he still have all that weight that he put on?
I think he probably lost some. It wasn't.
Because I remember from the house that they did, the Legends house. Remember that was the big shocker that came away from that. It's like, whoa, he got pretty big.
He was eating good.
So that was the thing, and it was like I know he said he had some health issues because of the weight gain. Right. So I'm wondering if that played a part in this.
Yeah. He was a little bit slimmer.
Mm-hmm. And is he still employed in some way with them?
He's still employed. He's not unemployed. He's employed. He's still getting his benefits and stuff. They didn't say that he wasn't employed, but he just hasn't been seen for a while.
Yeah, I mean, a long time.
Yeah, it was a while. So hope everything works out for him.
It's like Mean Gene. We know he's still employed just because he does a lot of voice work on the network.
Yeah, he's doing stuff. It's just we hope he continues stuff.
Yeah. All right.
But yeah. So, WWE has announced via Twitter that Stephanie McMahon will return to TV this upcoming Raw to deliver a historic announcement. There are two rumors that are running rampant. They're running wild. One is that they're going to introduce the first ever female tag team belt and division. The second is that we're going to get an all-female pay-per-view as like a sorry apology to the Greatest Royal Rumble match. Which you remember that pay-per-view only had all men because it was in Saudi Arabia. So I have no idea which it is.
I say the tag titles, because they said they were going to announce the tag titles for 205 also.
Okay, then
So I see that as, and that was said a long time ago. In fact, didn't they show a belt? Could have swore I saw someone displaying a belt, or someone, was it Triple H or somebody took a picture of the belt, and they weren't supposed to take the picture, and they leaked it up online. But I think it's going to be a female tag title, but I don't see them doing strictly WWE unless would they announce? Would she be the one to announce the second Mae Young Classic?
You know, she likes to take credit for everything, and plus she did the whole Revolution.
So if that's the case, because we know supposedly there's a bunch of female indie wrestlers that are already freed up.
Everybody.
Yeah, some dates, and supposedly those are the dates for the tapings and stuff for the Mae Young. So that could be another possibility. Maybe she's going to make that announcement that it's coming back. Maybe it's a double announcement. It's an announcement Mae Young, this one, and then an announcement that they're going to get a tag title. I mean, they have enough female wrestlers to support it.
Well, they already announced Mae Young.
No, I mean the tag title.
Oh, okay.
You know, they have enough to support that, and they don't really take tag titles serious anyway. So,
no.
You know, I mean, it's not like back in the day when you had Legion of Doom and the Rockers, and you had. I mean, we have Authors of Pain, but besides that, I feel like everybody else is just hodgepodge. Oh, put these two guys together, make a tag team. Let's stick these guys together, make another tag team. They don't work out, they go solo. You know, Matt and Bray, they were feuding. If I could make them a tag team.
True. That made plenty of sense, but okay.
Golden Truth.
Yeah. Oh man, but that was such a great tag team.
See, but that's what I'm saying. They just just meshing things together and see what sticks. Does this work? Yeah, all right, whatever, fine.
Yeah, and they should bring them back.
They're both still there. So
they're both there. Aww.
They should bring it back if they're willing to bring back Team Hell. No, they should bring back Golden Truth.
Well, that was out of desperation.
Yeah, well, that's over now because he's hurt.
So. Well, he's injured, but not really injured. You know, he does have a campaign to run.
Yeah, but they said he really got hurt in the back. That something happened with his hamstring, and it happened the night before, or the Monday, the Tuesday show. Something happened with his hamstring or something like that. So he really did get hurt, and that's why they just had to do the squash match because like he's not gonna be able to pull this off.
Oh well, then I wonder what they're gonna do with Daniel Bryan now because he kind of sucks in singles.
Damn! Oh, you were all supportive of Mr. Daniel Bryan. Oh, get a new contract. He deserves to keep wrestling. Blah blah blah.
He does deserve to keep wrestling, just not in the WWE. And we've established.
Now you want him to go wild? You want him to go free? I think you said that before.
I think it's very clear which direction they're going with Daniel Bryan now, because I mean he has a match with The Miz that is going to be announced at some point, since we saw how the segment went on SmackDown Live. So everyone has been wanting to see that match. So I don't have a problem with that. After that is where you need to actually see, okay, what's next after that. But yeah, SummerSlam match with The Miz is not a bad place to start.
I just don't know where it goes. The whole thing, I just don't know where it goes. All right.
I don't know. I'm not as excited for it as you guys are. But in your news that I know that you're excited about, Cain Velasquez, the former UFC heavyweight champion, is training at the WWE Performance Center in Orlando, Florida. This week he attended the television taping of NXT. He made his presence known. WWE even posted a story about him, and they included the video online on WWE.com of all of his training and everything that he's doing. And he said all the athletes here have just been really easy to talk to, ask questions, and good feedback. He says, I'm just looking to be here and learn as much as I can in the time that I'm here. I've been a fan of the sport since I was a little kid. Now I get to participate in it. It's great that I have all this accessibility to me. So he went on and saying that he's working hard using the DDP yoga, and that he can't wait to figure out the rest of his career, and that the training right now is very tough. He said it's tough on my body, it's tough mentally, but it's fun. This is what I love to do. I love to compete and to work out, and I can get to do that here. So, boom. He might be coming to WWE, or another theory, they're using it as the performance center is going to just be used as a training facility for all like MMA, UFC, wrestling people. So
that's what I'm thinking. I just don't see it. Like, yeah, I followed him for a long time, and yeah, he comes from wrestling. He was a big time wrestler, but I just don't see him as maybe I don't know. Maybe he is a draw. He is from Mexico. Well, he's Mexican descent and all that, so maybe that'll work out in his favor with it. But I don't know. I don't know if the impact is there. Is what I'm getting at. Like the Ronda, of course, is Ronda Rousey, and he was champ. He was UFC champ for a while, and he had some big fights. Didn't win a lot of the big fights, but he had the big fights. Some good feud with Junior Dos Santos. But I just don't know if he's the draw. Is what I'm getting at. And
but
if you bring him in.
But why would he even be at an NXT taping?
Well, NXT taping because he's already training over there, and it's already in Florida. So not like he's traveling with them. It's over at that Full Sail University, so it's no big deal to just jump in a car and drive over and watch the show. So maybe he's getting feelers. Maybe he's thinking about it, and they're like, "Hey, come on down, train with us, see what you think. Maybe you want to do this." It could be that too, because he is a big name. So it's not so much of we want you, we need you now, that type of thing. It's like, hey, you want in? We could probably use you in some way. Yeah, you think you can do this? You think you can get in the ring and roll in this fashion? Yeah, come on down to Performance Center. You're already in Florida, so let's try this out and see what's up. So it could be that, or like you said, could be just it's another performance center. There are a lot of UFC fighters and other Bellator fighters that live in Florida. There's a bunch of fight groups that are out there, so I could see it. Like American Top Team, that was the one Bobby Lashley's part of. So I wouldn't be surprised if some of those guys are there training. And wasn't Ronda Rousey's husband also there training? Was that also a thing?
Well, his thing is that he's looking to work in the WWE. He wants to be a wrestler there. So that's the difference.
Well, there you go. You see, that's what I'm saying. It's like, so it's one of that. It could be one of those situations of like, you get a job somewhere, and then your buddy's back at the old job, like, yo, how's the new job? Yo, it's all right. You should come on down. Maybe I can get you an interview, because it seems like a lot of people from the UFC are coming over, and a lot of these people know each other. So it could be one of those situations. Like, hey, look, it's working out for the guys that come over here. They're making some money, and you still get in the public eye, and it's also a good leapfrog to get into movies. Look at The Rock. Look at Batista. So if they can jump into wrestling, which is scripted, it's athletic and scripted, so you're still training hard, you're still keeping in shape, and you're getting some mic time to show off your creative skills, and your mic work, it's a win-win. So I could see that as a plus, especially if they're trying to get into movies. And I feel like all these athletes are trying to get in there because they already have the look. When you think about the physique from all the working out, they just have to prove that they can, sell a story. So
we shall see. Mm-hmm. Maybe you might be right though. Now this is a little interesting. Remember from last week we were discussing that Bret Hart was angry at Owen Hart's wife for not allowing Owen to be in the WWE Hall of Fame. And then so the wife went and spoke up and was like, we have the Owen Foundation and we're doing more for his legacy than WWE could have ever imagined. Well, this is the in the feelings part of the segment here, where Bret responded via his Facebook page, and that he's very upset at Martha and the comments that she made about, she's the only one keeping his legacy alive, and that you don't need the WWE to do this. So he says, this past week, I have received multiple requests for comment regarding my recent interview on a podcast and the rebuttal made by Dr. Martha Hart, Owen Hart's wife. First of all, I want to express my disappointment in the Calgary Sun and Calgary Herald for running a gossip-style article and making it front-page news when there are more pressing issues in the world to highlight. You are better than that. I listened back to the interview in question, and I specifically want to address Martha's comment about my words being cruel, reckless, irresponsible, and hurtful. Stampede Wrestling was an institution in the city of Calgary. Wrestling was our family business. My brothers and I wrestled for my father's stew or worked behind the scenes. Fans packed the Victoria Pavilion every Friday night for decades. Martha has seemed to have forgotten that she attended those same shows before she met Owen. She was, by definition, a wrestling fan. That same group Martha appears to look down upon and ignore. Earlier this year, Mark Henry took time during his WWE Hall of Fame induction to specifically address Martha with tears in his eyes. Henry pleaded with her to allow Owen to be inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame. My nieces and nephews were in the audience with tears in their eyes as he expressed how much he deserved to be there with his peers. Fans have told me they had tears in their eyes when they watched the moment on television. Those same fans Martha sat side by side with at Stampede Wrestling and WWE events. These same fans that donated to the Owen Hart Foundation and helped make it what it is today because they remember the joy he brought to their lives and not by how he died. Those royalty checks she receives, and still cash, from the company she says she doesn't want any part of, those are also from those same fans. To her, their tears do not matter. To me, that is cruel and hurtful. It is true that Martha and I were close at one time. I was right by her side after Owen's death until she received her settlement from the WWE and proclaimed me a pest. Martha later declared herself and her children Harts in name only, called us all black sheep, and ceased contact with the rest of the Hart family. She further isolated us when we all came together in 2010 to honor our father, Stu, being inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame and participated in a DVD that celebrated our family. The DVD is called Heart and Soul. Owen's children do not have a relationship with their brothers. With his brothers, sisters, nieces, nephews, and cousins. One of my nieces, in fact, named her son Owen after him. I do not know OG, which is the other Owen Hart's kid, and I wouldn't allow Athena if she walked past, and I wouldn't know Athena if she walked past me on the street. Owen's children only know of their father's family by what is told by their mother. Whatever that may be, painting us all with one broad brush. To block Owen's children from knowing their father's family, to me, is cruel and reckless and irresponsible. Owen's tragic accident happened almost 20 years ago, changed our family forever. Martha lost her soulmate, and her children have lost their father. You have to remember, however, that I also lost my brother. My children lost their uncle. My grandchildren will only know of him through pictures and stories. His peers lost a close friend who filled them with endless laughter through long periods on the road. The fan lost someone that they lovingly connected to. Martha is not alone in her grief and loss. The Owen Hart Foundation is a wonderful charity that has raised millions of dollars and has helped many people in its 19-year history. I am not disputing or denying that whatsoever. I disagree, however, that it should be the sole outlet to remember Owen by. This is not just about Owen being inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame. This is about his wrestling career, his wrestling legacy, his contributions to the business that he loved and honoring that contribution. Owen Hart was a world-renowned professional wrestler and a damn good one. He was part of the foundation that our family name was built on, not just in the city of Calgary, but all over the world. For Martha to want to rewrite history, to refuse to acknowledge or recognize his great wrestling career, to brush off what he himself and my father did as that fake stuff is wrong. Owen Hart is a wrestler. The next generation deserves to know how great he truly was. I am happy that my brother Owen will be inducted into the George Tragos Louis Thiez Professional Wrestling
Luthez, yeah.
Hall. Yep. What? Huh?
Remember the Luthez Press? Luthez.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Luthez Press Hall of Fame on July 28th in Waterloo, Iowa. My father and I are past honorees. While I will not be in attendance, the Hart family will be well represented by my brothers Ross, Bruce, Keith, sister Diana, and nephew Harry Smith, accepting the honor on his behalf. Thank you to the board of directors for recognizing his wrestling career, his contributions to the wrestling business, and his legacy. I'm sure the event will be filled with laughter, tears, and an overall appreciation for the man that he was. I can only hope this is only the beginning. Bret Hart. Woo.
Wow. Well, thanks for reading all that. I didn't know that he had so much to say about it.
Yeah, he did.
I mean, it's sad. I don't know. I just assumed that they were still close, but not close, but like the kids would see the other kids and family, and it was just her just saying no, no, no. She literally cut off that entire family as if they didn't exist. That's difficult, especially when there's a loss in the family. That's almost unheard of. I can understand if there was like a divorce or something, then it's like, oh, I hate you, I hate your family. That's not the case here. So I'm really shocked. I'm shocked.
Yeah, it's really sad and petty at this point. It's been 20 years and you're still like, they destroyed my husband. And, at least acknowledge his legacy. And she won't even allow that. And wasn't she make more, technically, off of the royalties if they allowed them to do WWE?
Oh, well, there's all kinds of things they can do. I don't think it's about the money, though. She wanted there was a multi-million-dollar settlement when he passed. She got a large chunk of that, and it sounds like she has other income coming in also from this. So I don't think it's about that. I think it's just something deeper, and it's got to be something after the fact. To cut off the family the way she did, there's something else going on. It's not all about the WWE and the passing of Owen. It's got to be something else that happened after the fact.
Yeah.
That's because that's too deep right there. All that's deep. But then again, it's their own private life.
It is true. It's just
we would like to see him in the Hall of Fame, but that's you got to respect the family's wishes. At least the wife. Now, when the kids grow up, I don't know how old they are now, but I'm sure when they get to that point, 18, 19, whatever, they can make their own decisions. And then if they want to contact their uncle and their aunts and other people in wrestling, they're out there. You got the new Hart Foundation that's out there wrestling with an MLW. Davey Boy, and then Brian Pillman Jr. is out there too. It's crazy. They're doing their own thing. So, those kids, their family's out there in the wrestling biz. So if they really want to get into it, it's not hard. Not for that family. Just reach out. So if that's what they want, then they'll go looking for it. But it's a shame. But I have a feeling eventually he will get inducted.
Yeah. Fingers crossed. Yeah. So, recent WWE signee Keith Lee made his NXT in-ring debut on the July 18th television taping, using his Limitless and Bask in My Glory catchphrases.
Mm-hmm.
Earlier this week, Lee arrived at the Performance Center in Orlando as part of the latest class, which they really rushed him and put him in the ring so quickly because he last debuted on NXT television when he was just sitting in the front row during NXT Chicago. And he did wrestle a match at Access before WrestleMania 34, taking on Cash's Ono. So it's pretty interesting. And it's not clear whether or not his match will air on NXT, like on broadcast, but that's what.
I don't think so. I think they're going to do a build-up. Because he was a big name in the Indies. He's a big guy who can wrestle multiple styles. He can get technical. He can go high fly. He's great on the mic. And he's a really big dude. So for him to do all that sort of reminds me of, the Mac's not that great on the mic, but the Mac from Lucha Underground, because he can do some crazy moves. You know, he can get technical. He can do high fly, all this stuff. Not so much on the mic, but he's like that. He's very diverse. So I think that's the plus side with him. And they see it. So it's good. It's going to work out for him.
Yeah. So, Dolph Ziggler recently appeared on Lillian Garcia's Chasing Glory podcast and shot down the idea that people who aren't in major storylines are the ones at fault. So this is what he had to say. He is saying that whether or not his certain angles get a push, it has to do with you and not WWE creative. He says this: it's not true at all. 11.5 out of the 12 years I was doing everything I could, pitching ideas, having guys like Shawn Michaels tell me how awesome I was. I got to the point where I said to Shawn, I'm going to go out here in this dark match and tell you, and you tell me why the hell I'm not on TV kicking ass. He goes, okay. I had the match, came to the back, and he said, yeah, I don't know. So I got to a point where I was so fed up, and that's years ago. So it's happened. So he's saying that it just happens. You know, it's not because of lack of trying. It's not because everyone's lazy. It's just because sometimes you just don't get that recognition and you don't get that push.
He did get it for a while. Remember when he was with AJ?
Yeah, but remember, it took years for him to get that build-up.
You know, so I don't know. Man, because even let's say if you just tuned in, you didn't follow wrestling, you just tune in, you see Dolph Ziggler, you get it. You know, he's got the hair, he's got the look, and the whole thing, but just something's missing. There's something there that I just don't see him as the next Shawn Michaels. And that's what they had tried to push him as. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's I don't know. He knows how to take bumps. The guy sells. He's amazing. He can work in the ring, but there's just something there. I just don't see him as a top guy. And I guess that's maybe the same issue that they're having backstage. You know, especially with creative. They're like, it's got to be something. I mean, it's so crazy that he had this storyline where he was bitter. Remember, talking about all the Hall of Famers, doing that whole thing where he would come out. He was getting a lot of TV time. Those segments were long, over 10 minutes long, of him just talking, going in the back, changing outfits, just to win the title, and the next night put the title in the ring and walk away. For what was that, like a month or so?
Mm-hmm.
And then he shows up at the Rumble. People were cheering. They're like, oh, he's back. And then he gets eliminated. And then he brushes off the whole thing and says he wants to go for a different title. It makes sense. So none of it makes sense in this situation. And you hear the rumors, oh, he was unhappy, he wants to leave. But then he signed a new deal. Then you hear he didn't sign a new deal. It's like, whatever. But that storyline made no sense. And I guess they just scrapped it.
Yeah. Well, you just don't know, because nothing makes any sense anymore. Such as Bobby Lashley. But other than that, WWE has announced that we're getting the Mae Young Classics, and they have now confirmed 15 competitors. The show is going to tape in early August and is going to air later this summer on the WWE Network. So far, we have, I'm going to botch these names because half of these names are in other languages. Yim, Y-I-M. Her name is Yim. Then you have Kelly, Killer Kelly. Then you have Crystal, Martinez, Kavita Devai, Caitlyn, which remember is AJ Lee's best friend in real life and was also a part of WWE years ago. Io Shirai, Rhea Ripley, Casey Catrazino, Nicole Matthews, Ginny. Then it's Tegan Knox, Deanna Peruzzo, Jesse Alaban, and Renee Gonzalez. And then Vernice Gabriel has been reported but not confirmed by WWE. So we have 15 so far. And remember, last year was 32 competitors. So they're going to announce more as the days and months go by. So yay, women. It's going to tape August 8th and August 9th at Full Sail University. Anyone who wants tickets, they can get them there. That excitement, yo. Okay, so NXT has announced the War Game match will return November 17th for NXT TakeOver Los Angeles. The last year, their show was really amazing. This year is going to be really amazing because NXT tend to have really amazing pay-per-views. Then we're also going to get Tommaso Ciampa versus Johnny Gargano versus Aleister Black in a triple threat match for the NXT title. It has been made official for the main event for NXT TakeOver Brooklyn. So Brooklyn is going to be really good. And then Chris Jericho announced himself, the Young Bucks versus Kenny Omega, Cody Rhodes, Martin Scurll for the Cruise of Jericho. So anyone who's on a cruise who wants to see wrestling matches, that's what's going to happen. That's what's going down.
Not interested. I've heard of these cruises before. It's basically, they're floating hotels and people are like, oh, I get to see them all the time. No, you're going to see them when they do little matches and maybe when they do signings. And I wouldn't be surprised if they did their signings and they still charged for it, for the autographs and stuff. So
wrestling on
it doesn't matter. These cruise ships are so massive. Have you ever been on one of these cruise ships?
Yes.
It's almost to the point that, there you go. So it almost feels like you're still in a hotel. It doesn't even feel like you're on a damn boat.
Anything can happen. You're getting wrestling.
Yeah. It's not. Put them on a rowboat. Yeah, put them on something small where it's you're like, oh, wow, I could definitely feel this. It's happening.
Loser gets thrown off the boat match. There you go. No?
That's dangerous.
There you go. That's what make it interesting.
Oh, boy.
Come on now. We only live once. YOLO, as the kids say. You're like, no. Okay, so former WWE superstar CM Punk, remember him? And AJ Lee, remember her? They are set to star in an upcoming horror film titled Rabid. So, basically, it is a remake of the 1977 horror movie made by David Cronenberg with the same name, which I'm sure Adam hasn't seen because Adam doesn't watch movies, especially anything that has to do with Avengers. But whatever. Punk and Lee are a real-life couple who have been married since 2014. Okay? They will play a couple, Billy and Kara. And that's all we know. The film is directed and written by the guys who did See No Evil 2. So that's the weird WWE connection. I know you guys are excited. I hear it is.
DVD?
You see, why they gotta go to DVD?
Is that what it is? I don't know. I'm asking.
They didn't say straight to DVD. No, that's not nice. No. Could be in your theater or in streaming service. We have streaming now. No one's excited for this. I want to see.
You can watch these movies. I don't care about.
I want to see. Remember, AJ Lee has her own TV show coming up next year.
I'm sure she does.
No, remember the TV show was based on a book that she wrote.
Yeah. I don't know if it's coming. I know they were doing a pilot.
It's gonna come. It's gonna get picked up. It's gonna be great. Positive.
Okay.
Oh gosh.
I don't know what you want. Yeah, I can't wait. I'm so excited. AJ talking about her craziness.
I thought it was interesting news. It was like, oh, they're gonna be in the movie. This is gonna be exciting. I guess not. Okay, so Whatever. Moving on. Weird story. Back in the 1990s, remember the New York Times Square WWF restaurant and bar?
Yep.
And they also served the merchandise, and it was over expensive, and their
It was a
food was
hard. They turned into the Hard Rock Cafe.
yes, and it had crappy food and everything.
Chris Angel was there too. Remember, he had the cabaret downstairs.
Yes. Oh man, so many memories.
Mhm.
I still have all of the items I bought from there. Anyway, sorry. Back then, Vince McMahon wanted to do like a big cross promotion, right? And he wanted to maintain the status of the brand. So he wanted to take the Times Square essence of the Times Square restaurant and build a hotel and casino.
What?
Ah?
A
Yes.
casino? He wants to build a casino in Times Square.
And casino, it gets great. No, see, I really thought that this would be great, but remember, the restaurant bombed so badly years later. But here's what it is. So they wanted to open up their own hotel and casino. It would be called the WWF Hotel and Casino. It would be near the Interstate 15 freeway. And it would be across from the Mandalay Bay Resort and Casino and the Las Vegas Strip.
Mm-hmm.
So the WWF Casino and Hotel, obviously, it never got past the proposal stage. And they ended up, even though they owned the building, they ended up selling it in December 2000. Okay? But this is what the idea of. This is what they wanted. Pretty interesting. So Bruce Pritchard announced this on his podcast that there was going to be Stone Cold Steve Austin betting chips, an Undertaker tattoo parlor,
Mm-hmm.
and a Sable lingerie shop.
Oh, I remember this. Okay.
Daily matches, and it said you would even have retired wrestlers greet you at the casino.
Yeah, yep. They were always going to be around. They would have retired wrestlers also walking around greeting and stuff as if they're just hanging out.
I thought that was so cool. Do you know? I think the parlor idea would be great. The whole tattoo parlor part. Oh my gosh, nothing? All right, fine.
Know, because it's like I'm not into the whole casino thing and gambling. You know, I grew up in New York. We don't gamble. Not like that, at least. We play craps, but casinos, all that stuff, that's illegal unless you went up to Connecticut. So it's not a big part of my life. So for them to say, oh, we're opening up a casino, no, it doesn't do anything for me. That restaurant did in Times Square because I used to hang around there. You know, got all the movie theaters there. You had Broadway, the arcade there. So it made perfect sense. But then that didn't last. So
wait a second. There was tons of gambling going on in Queens. Whether or not it was legal is another question.
But not a casino. Not like that.
So you need to come back because we have casinos now in Queens.
There are casinos in Queens.
Oh my gosh, yes. There's a casino in Queens.
You gamble?
No, I don't. I'm too broke to gamble.
There you go. So would you have? So then don't worry about it. You're talking about this hotel. I don't think you would have gone there.
Well, I know I couldn't afford it, but the concept would have been really cool, and then I could have gotten one of my uncles or something to go and be miserable with me.
Oh, okay.
No, okay, fine. I'm the only one who's Richard. Are you excited? Anything? Guess not.
Nope.
Hey,
nope.
Well, I guess it'll work for some people. I mean, I don't have any. I don't have any personal thoughts on looking forward to this, but yeah, for those that are looking forward to it, that's great. Let's see it get done first, and then we can judge whether or not it was successful.
Well, it's not going to get done now. I mean, even though it could get done, because remember, they have $2 billion just floating around.
I think they should have kept that building. Well, yeah, they should have kept the building when they had the WWE and then did something with the whole thing. They could have made that a hotel or something. I don't know. I mean, it's not that big to make a hotel, but I don't know. I think they could have did something else. I was shocked when they sold it.
They could still do something.
Well, I only have this to say. if Roman Reigns is the featured attraction, like if you have images of him or some type of statue with him at this hotel, then it gets an automatic thumbs down from me. So we'll see about that.
Goodness gracious, in a handbasket.
Great balls of fire.
Anyway, so really big news. If you haven't heard by now, Hulk Hogan is reinstated into the WWE Hall of Fame following his 3-year suspension that apparently nobody knew about. He also recently made his return off TV, but don't worry, we'll see it because it was filmed for the WWE 24.
No, it wasn't filmed.
It was filmed.
You sure?
It was filmed.
I also saw some news that it potentially wasn't filmed. To me, it's unclear right now until we see exactly what's going to happen with that particular part. But I heard it is filmed, was filmed, and then I've heard it wasn't filmed, and both of the sources are credible sources. So I don't know who to believe in that instance.
At least one part that I heard was not filmed was when he addressed the boys in the back.
Yes.
He called a big meeting, and that was definitely not filmed. So if they filmed anything, maybe it's just stuff in the hallway, like, I'm really excited to be here. This is going to be great. You know, that typical jargon. But when it comes to what he said, the speech, supposedly explaining himself and this and that to the boys, I don't think that was filmed because a lot of people said that was like a closed door type of thing.
Well, Ryan Satin said it was filmed. Other people said it was filmed. So we will find out, I guess, when 24 drops and we see Hulk Hogan crying.
Man, I don't know.
So, I don't know. WWE released a statement because obviously people were really confused by this. Said after 3-year suspension, Hulk Hogan has been reinstated into the WWE Hall of Fame. This second chance follows Hogan's numerous public apologies, volunteering to work with young people where he is helping them learn from his mistake. These efforts led to recent inductions into the Boys and Girls Hall of Fame of America Alumni Hall of Fame. Wait a second. So remember, he's also going on this like tour where he is telling people to learn from his mistakes and to watch what you say in public. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Once is he saying, don't be racist.
Do you think he's racist?
I think that he has. If you hold a racist statement or belief, then yes, that can make you racist. Now, are you the same racist as like, I'm going to have a cross burning and I'm lynching people of color and I'm telling Hispanics to get out of the country and I'm calling ICE? That may be a different level.
Do you think Mel Gibson is racist? Because they both had the same type of rant. So
they did have the same kind. I do. So
even when he came out and apologized and said that he was just in a rage, and
you can be angry and say things against a race and be angry and take it out, but at the same time, why are you choosing race to take it out on that person?
So PewDiePie, when he dropped the N-word, do you think he was racist or that was all rage? I
feel it could be a combination of both. But for you to be mad at somebody, right? I'm mad at you. I'm going to assume you're Hispanic. I don't know what you are. So I'm going to just assume for the record that you're Hispanic, right? I can say, oh, I can't stand you, you bald-headed mother effer, and look at you with your facial features or whatever. Why do I have to call you out of your race? Why should that be the first line of attack?
I think people do that because they want the reaction. That's whenever anyone's in any kind of fight or argument, that's the first thing they go for. They'll go for your appearance. Doesn't matter what it is, whether you're Irish and you have a heavy Irish accent and they'll call you a dumb Mick, or if you're black, or if you're Chinese and they'll call you a dumb Chinaman. There's always something. Whenever there's someone wants to berate someone, that's the first thing they go for.
But the first thing you're going to go is even if I attack your skin color, the first thing you're going to go is for that derogatory.
Yes, that's what people do. They just all do it. Everybody does it. Everybody does it. Doesn't matter what race, everybody does it. It's the quick go-to, which is why I wonder about this whole thing. Because if you're in a rant, you're upset, if you're thinking just ranting and raving, you're not thinking about clear like, oh, should I say this? Is this PC? Should I? You're just letting it rip. All those things come out. We've seen it. You've been in high school. You've seen it. People just they get that reaction. They start screaming all this stuff out. Are they racist? I don't know. I don't think so. I think it's just an easy call out. It's an easy way to get the reaction, and to try to put somebody down. At least they think they're putting them down by saying those mean things.
So should everyone be forgiven if they go on a racist rant? Are you going to say, oh, well, they're not really racist. They're just saying something to get a reaction?
No,
So
I
then-
don't know. The thing is, I don't know if he's always saying that. We only know that one time. I don't know. That could be his common thing with his behind closed doors. His lingo. We don't know. That's the thing. We can't pass that judgment. We only know from what we heard in that one tape. Now, if there was multiple people coming, I was like, sure, he always talked like that. There you go. Then that's him. But if this is this one time where he's in a rant about something going on in his life and the whole thing with his daughter, and he's freaking out and he's pissed and fucking blah, 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 that could just come out as rage. And he's just so upset and he's just throwing these horrible remarks out. But if someone talks like that and there's other people to vouch, like, hey, he's always saying these type of things. Okay, then there you go. Then that's him. Then he really is a racist. Is what I'm saying. So.
Right.
And I think that's why WWE and I think that's why Hollywood. You see with Mel Gibson, he had that new movie that came out not too long ago, the Ridge. It was good. I forgot the name of it, but it was a good war movie based on true story. And he came out, and I saw him when he was on that pro tour, and he was on Stephen Colbert, and Stephen Colbert brought it up. He's like, hey, you said a lot of horrible things, and he said, I did. I'll own it. I shouldn't have said it. It was a rant. It was a rage, and I don't feel that way. It's just things that I said, and that's it. I did do it. Mixing with alcohol, but that was also a problem that I had. And it's just whatever. I'm sorry. And he said it. He was blackballed from Hollywood for years, to the point that he had to fund that movie himself because nobody wanted to work with him, because they were like, no, we're not touching this, and you got to do it yourself. So I think Hulk Hogan's following that footstep, just going around doing this promotional tour talking about, hey, don't do what I did. I'm sure a lot of these kids don't even know what he said. What I mean? What did you do? What do you mean? You're Hulk Hogan. And it's like, oh, well, I said this, I said that, I said mean things about people and their race, and I judged and just out of anger. And we always hear about that. You always hear it's like, oh, when people go to race stuff, it's just because they're angry. They don't know anything else to say. It's an easy low blow. Is what I'm saying. We all know that's an easy low blow. You dumb this, you dumb that. Well, do you know I'm done? I have a college degree. Do you know anything about me? Oh, well, I'm just saying, fuck, stop talking to me. People rant. So, I don't know. Was it Mark Henry came out on his show, and he's like, oh, it's like 50-50 backstage, how they feel. And maybe the 50 that people, the percent of people that believe him are people that knew him for years, that knew him from other promotions. Now he's got other issues that people don't like him over, trying to keep people down, always wanting to stay a top guy. But it's a contractor job. That's what people have to remember. It's a contractor job. You have to do the best you can to keep yourself relevant. So it is a cutthroat industry. And he was able to cut a lot of throats to stay up top. That's why we know his name today, and little kids know his name. And he can go through different transitions and different promotions, but he'll always be, the Hulk Hogan that we know with the yellow and orange, or red, I mean.
Yeah.
So I think if he comes out, it depends on where he comes out. Meaning like the market, like we already know certain markets in the UK, they will chant up a storm, all kinds of things. They still chant CM Punk, so they'll chant all kinds of things. If he comes out of New York, probably get the same type of reaction. But if he comes out somewhere where they maybe don't care so much, then he'll get a good reaction. And I think it's important and crucial for that first time coming out, because he will have to make a speech if he does do something. He can't just come out, I'm Hulk Hogan, and do the whole, take your vitamin, say your prayers. No, he's got to say something, because he's already dressed the boys in the back. He's already addressing kids and doing the whole thing. So he's got to do it to the universe. And I don't think they're just going to do a special and on the network and say, yep, he said the special, go watch that, because there's only under 2 million people that have it. And how many people watch WWE product on TV? They said it's more than that. So
then the only way to address it is during WrestleMania.
Oh, no, you don't do it on that stage.
When the world is literally watching.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Not with the crowd that shows up there. That you remember we talked about that WrestleMania crowd is unforgiving. Unforgiving.
As in general.
And the last thing you need is Hulk Hogan coming out and people booing and chanting racist, and all those type of things. You don't need that. It's gonna take time. Yeah, it's gonna take time, and they have to figure it out. And I'm sure right now they're like, we'll get to that point someday. We don't know what to do anyway. There's no point right now.
Well, I'm sure he'll be a DLC in 2019. 2K19.
I could also see him doing it at the Hall of Fame if he inducts somebody or does something like that. I could see something like that.
Yeah, that works too.
Because that way he gets more mic time. He could be more genuine. He doesn't have to scream at a live crowd.
Well, technically there.
I want to make a comment. If he did that during the Hall of Fame, I personally think whoever's he is inducting in, that's going to take away from that person's induction, because people are going to be talking about, did you hear what Hogan said?
It depends if it's a person of color that he's inducting, and someone that's legit. If it's a legit friend who's like, yeah, I wouldn't mind. I want Hulk Hogan to induct me in.
So it's in New Jersey. I don't know if that's a good idea.
So no, yeah, I don't know about that either. So Adam, you're saying so what if Hulk Hogan was to be involved in this SummerSlam match? Bobby Lashley wins and he raises Bobby Lashley's hand as the new Universal Champion. Would you be fine with that?
It's what do you mean if he helps him win?
No, I mean if he is like an enforcer or ringside or a guest referee or what have you, would you be happy with that?
I'm happy whenever Bobby Lashley wins. I don't care who raises it. It could be Ken Shamrock out there. I don't give a shit. I just want Bobby Lashley to get that title. I think he deserves it.
I would cheer that so hard.
He was screwed. He was screwed in ECW when he was there. The fact that he had to lay down for Vince McMahon, that was horrible.
Yeah, well,
and when he said he wasn't coming back, he had no reason to come back, and they didn't want to lose him. And he had issues with Michael Hayes with the typecasting that they were doing on him. So they owe him a lot, and I know a lot of that was brought up when they were poaching to bring him over. People got to remember that he didn't come after them; they came after him for this go around. So there's no way. I don't see him just coming in just to make Roman look strong. It makes no sense. They got plenty of people on that roster to do that.
So I we'll get into this discussion with Bobby Lashley shortly. I agree with a lot of what was said, but I just want to say something about the Hulk Hogan reinstatement. I don't really understand why they made this announcement, because we never knew that he was even suspended in the first place. So when they made the announcement saying that they reinstated him, I was like, well, that's interesting, because I didn't know about any of this other stuff before.
They did. They didn't say anything on TV, but they posted on the website after everything happened with the tape and all that scandal and stuff. I know they posted on their website.
Well, the only thing.
Ways with Hulk Hogan.
The only thing
he was tours.
Well, the only thing I knew about that was that they removed him from the website. I didn't see an official statement, so so I'm not sure if the statement was put out there. But I know he was removed from the website, so I figured, okay, well, and at this point, I respect what Hulk Hogan has done for WWE, but I don't really care because he is not the focal point of WWE right now. So when that announcement happened, if it did happen, I know it was off my radar because I'm like, Hogan is old, retired. You know, it doesn't matter to me.
I think about, if anything, it helped his case when he was suing with Gawker and all that stuff for what they released, because he lost his job.
Yeah.
Now we just saw that with the CM Punk and the Doctor. The Doctor didn't lose his job, still had a job, but was still suing for millions. It's like, for what? Nothing happened to you. And Hogan's in situation, he lost his livelihood. They all know, everybody knew that he was Hulk Hogan from WWE. He was the Hall of Fame. He was a wrestler. You take that away, you killed him. You killed his life character.
Yeah. One other quick thing I want to make, quick comment, that I'm gonna pass the mic back over to you, Dana. Just in regards to Hogan, you asked the question earlier. You asked Dana, does she think that Hogan is a racist? Well, my answer to that same question is, I would say yes, based on the statement, because that statement was made, you know, in the privacy of his own home. We could say it was recorded, but it was a statement that was made. Now, with that said,
if I remember right, this was regarding his daughter and the guy she was dating or something, right?
No, it was the daughter. And remember, he attacked The Rock and The Rock's father and some weird random rant.
Maybe I didn't hear the whole thing. I remember definitely hearing about the daughter, and he was upset who the daughter was dating.
But see, that's not the only one, because there was another rant that he had with his son that got recorded about when his son was in jail, and he was trying to talk to him about, you know, other people that should be in the same jail cell and stuff like that. So he's had multiple occasions where he said some questionable things.
There we go. All right. So if that's all true, then yeah, he's a racist. There you go.
Now, I will say this, though. I will say that while, you know, like I said, I don't know Hulk Hogan personally. I know only of the particular conversations or the recordings in which I've heard him say questionable things. But I will say this, even if he is a racist, I do think it is possible for people to learn over time to try and become better. You know, take for example, someone that may be a alcoholic and all they do is drink and drink and drink, and they try to go and get help for that. And, you know, they can be recovering, but they can have lapses in judgment, stuff like that. Now, obviously, these are two different examples, but in the case of Hogan, I do think as you get older, you grow, maybe you get a chance to explore the world more, you get to see things from a different perspective. Maybe you can eventually become somewhat a better person, not entirely 100% a new person, but maybe you see things a little bit differently and you understand you made some mistakes. So, yeah, at that point, things happen. But one thing I will say is that I noticed, and this is something.
What could he do to prove that he's changed?
Well, I honestly, I really don't think. I mean, you can apologize about it, but the point that I'm getting at is that, and this is the point that I wanted to get to. Even if I would say he is a racist or what have you because of the things that he said, I'm not going to sit here and say that, oh, I just completely am against everything that he's done, because I understand that we are supposed to forgive people. That is in the Bible, forgiveness. When you do that, and even though it's very difficult to do for some people, no one can really judge anybody because everybody has done something that they wasn't supposed to do, whether it's they said something or they did something that was inappropriate. But it says in the Bible, you're not supposed to judge people. And, you know, if you are going to judge somebody, you know, the person who judges, let them cast the first stone. So I feel like a lot of people will look at Hogan and they'll be like, well, he made these mistakes of saying all this stuff. So I understand it's hard to forgive, but at the end of the day, we are not really in any position to say that we're perfect people either. So I mean, like I said, I think the stuff he said is messed up, no doubt about that. I don't know him personally, so I don't really care too much about the situation because it doesn't impact me directly. But I do think that Yeah, I could see why some people won't forgive him, and then I can see why others will say, well, yeah, they will forgive him. But I do say that eventually everyone makes mistakes, so I wouldn't be so harsh as to just say this is a terrible guy because
also just to go on that. Remember, we're in a different time, at least when it comes to WWE. Back in the Attitude Era, I think there would be no issue, and they probably would have made a damn storyline out of this. You know, but we're in a different time. They don't want that type of controversy. Hell, they haven't mentioned Trump winning once. The fact that he's a president or any of that. He's a Hall of Famer.
Yes.
The Hall of Famer. They have not said anything about it. I could have swore that the next Raw after he won, they were going to say, you know, congratulations and this and this and that. You know, they did not say a damn thing. They also don't mention the fact that Linda McMahon works in that cabinet and she's part of the administration.
Yeah, I think they saw the response to him winning, and they don't want to.
That's what I'm saying.
They don't want to get involved in that.
The same discussion that we're having about is this right or wrong, the whole thing. I'm sure behind the scenes they're in the same dilemma because they're like, do we really want to take this chance? You know, what's the upside of doing this? What's the downside? You know,
it wasn't as controversial as he is. I think they would have been gloating and excited and doing promo videos of Linda McMahon in the White House. Yeah. But because
Trump, with Trump, no, absolutely. Oh, sure. I would have thought that Trump was going to show up on the show on one of the Raws or something and say something. Remember, we had the governor. He used to come out all the time. We had Barack Obama make a video package one time. Remember?
Well, one thing I will say, even though they are not going to go public and admit all this other stuff, I'm about 100% certain they still talk with Trump.
Oh,
they still talk with him. You know, it's just like you don't see the stuff out there in the open, but I'm pretty sure conversations are still being had. And you know, maybe
they're close. They're friends.
They're close and partners, and there's that whole money thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, he gave him money. They both gave him money back and forth. Trump gave money to Linda when she was running for some position a few years back, and that didn't work out. And then when Trump was running, they gave him $4 million.
Yep.
Toward his campaign. So, and they're friends. He was remember, he was general manager of Raw for a while.
Yep.
You know, and who was his buddy? Who was his tag partner? Do you remember?
Nope.
I bet you don't. Bobby Lashley.
Oh no! Oh no! Okay.
Bobby Lashley was tag partner.
Everything that Bobby touches goes to poop.
Oh no! See, there you go. So that's what I'm saying. Bobby has been there. He's there. He's relevant, and I mean, I just hope he gets his time, especially for the younger audience, so they could hear his story, and not the bullshit, the BS story about the stuff they were saying, but like his real wrestling story and his real life MMA story and the whole thing. I hope they go legit with him and his next push, whatever they do, because I have a feeling he will win his title and he will be the next for Brock.
Well, hold on. But before we get to that, because we definitely have. Yeah. Go ahead, Dana. You had to say some other things as well as
questioning whether or not Hogan was a racist. This is the statement that Hulk Hogan made that got him into trouble. And this is all with a hard R, okay? So he says, verbatim, I don't know if Brooke was effing the black guy's son. I mean, I don't have double standards. I mean, I am a racist to a point. Effing, N-word. But then when it comes to nice people and whatever, I mean, I'd rather she was going to F some N-word. I'd rather have her marry an 8-foot-tall N-word worth $100 million like a basketball player. I guess we're all a little racist. Effing N-word. Boom, he's racist. Told you.
Well, you know what? Wasn't that off of what a comedian? Which was that comedian that said there's a difference between nigger and nigga? Remember?
Wait, whoa.
It was a comedian. It was a black comedian who said it. It was a black comedian. It was a black comedian who said it. I forgot. I think it was. I want to say Dave Chappelle.
He said it with an R.
Was that it? Was that it? He
That's
said
what
there
he
was two different. There was a comedian that said there was two different ones, and he was like, "There's the ones that don't have jobs, don't do anything, and then there's the ones that just people when there's like, oh, this is my brother, my nigga, you know, this whole thing."
No,
I
if
think it
you
was
ask
Dave.
it, same thing. There's no A and there's no R.
Yeah,
There's
I
no.
think it
It's
was Dave
all one
Chappelle.
word. If
He
you say
said
it,
something.
it's
It
hard
was the
R.
way he was saying it because he was talking about how they say it in music. It wasn't about this. It was something about why do they use that word in music all the time, and he was trying to justify it in hip hop
What?
music. It was a
Either
comedian.
way,
I forgot what it was, but
Hogan can't use the word
you know.
either
So,
with an A or an
well,
R,
no one should be using that word.
and he
It's a
used it with an
derogatory
R.
term. You know, he's from
Okay,
Florida. What do you expect? He's from the South.
he used it with an R. Oh no! Now we're gonna excuse him using the R.
Not excusing him. I'm just saying, you know,
Just because
these
he's from
people.
Florida.
Some people are just. It's just how they say it. You know, but
Well,
hey,
then
he
if
shouldn't even say it. He said it. He said it. It is what it is. You know, he has his views and his points, and I don't know. It's gonna come up
he has
if
his
they
point,
decide if he wants to put on. If they want to, if WWE want to put him on TV, then so be it. But like you said, you found it. That stuff is out there. It all depends if people give a shit. That's what it really comes down to, and that's why I said it's really going to depend on where they debut him on TV, which market. It's
for the record.
no different than what we talked about with Roman Reigns trying to get his cheers, and how, you know, by him going over to the Saudi Arabia, they knew he was going to get cheers as opposed to when he gets booed in areas. Same thing. It's the same thing.
Well, the black wrestlers are not happy. Okay, they are not happy at all. New Day released a statement basically saying that they will not associate themselves with Hulk Hogan until he makes a genuine effort to change.
You should say the funny one. The one, there's only one person who had the best response to all of that, and Richard knows what I'm talking about. NXT star, remember? Velveteen Dreams comment.
Yeah.
That's better than any of the shit that we're hearing right now, because
What is
that
that?
was a direct message when Hogan sent them that tweet. Look at Hollywood Dream. He said that they should call it, and he says, "Sorry, Terry, I ride alone," or something like that. I roll alone. Oh, that was funny.
That yes, that is hilarious. But the New Day is upset. So is Mark Henry. So is Titus O'Neil. I'm pretty sure Bobby Lashley is not pretty happy about this. And so they said to the WWE universe and whoever else it may concern, this will be the only statement we will make regarding Hogan's reinstatement into the WWE Hall of Fame. We do not wish to spend the energy debating the point because between our kids, external ventures, and this job, our energy is spread thin enough already. We are all only writing this simply to provide an answer to the many who have bombarded us with questions on where we stand on the issue. We preface this statement by emphasizing that this is our own opinion and may not necessarily reflect the opinion of everyone else affected. How do we feel? Indifferent. We are not happy or sad, angry or resentful. Who WWE puts into the Hall of Fame is totally and completely up to the company. And from a career standpoint, there is no argument on whether or not Hogan should have his place. We have no problem with his reinduction in the slightest degree. It is impossible to even begin to mention the history and evolution of the business without mentioning his name and accolades. On a personal level, when someone makes a racist and hateful comment about any race or group of people, especially to the degree that Hogan made about our people, we find it difficult to simply forget, regardless of how long it was or the situation in which those comments were made, but we also do not respond with more feelings of hate. Instead, we just do not associate with people who convey or have conveyed this negative and hurtful mindset. This instance will be no different. Perhaps if we see him make a genuine effort to change, then maybe our opinion will change with him. Time will tell. Through the course of our lives, people have used racist comments towards us, and it doesn't feel good. But if we stop moving forward, and every time we are met with hatred, then we shall have never achieved our current accomplishment. We know we are worth it. We know our kids are worth it. And most importantly, we know that people that look like us are worth it and have always been. There isn't a person on this planet who will ever be able to say anything to make us think otherwise, because we believe in ourselves as a people and don't need anyone's approval on that, regardless of who they are. Having said that, his reinstatement won't change anything for us. It will have zero effect on our ability to perform or the level of effort we will put into doing what we love to do, and that is to deliver an entertaining product each week for our fan base. Sincerely, The New Day, and Titus O'Neil co-signed.
I would like to make a quick comment. First and foremost, I will say that's an excellent statement by the New Day, but I will also say that this is still the team that portrays these stereotypes.
Yep,
like
that's
the
what I was going to
pancakes.
say. We talked about it before. You know, got to come out and dance. Got to come out and dance and look foolish.
Exactly. So I would say all of that should end with every wrestler on the roster. Vince needs to just stop portraying them this way, or allowing them to portray themselves this way and to portray themselves as wrestlers. But that's the only statement I was going to make. You know, it was a great statement, but the stuff that they do is very, you know, I'm not a fan of the pancake thing. I'm not a fan of this other stuff that they had them doing before. So that's the only thing that I would say.
But the other thing is, I don't know what they're expecting from Hulk Hogan. Well, what can he do? Like I said, I don't even know. I don't know what he could do to prove it. This happened behind closed doors. So how do we know? What, you're going to bug his house and make sure he never says it again? I mean, for all these years, he obviously kept it under wraps.
No, he didn't.
He never leaked it. Well, so that's what I asked before. Has it ever been known from people outside that this is how he felt, that he's always been like this?
I'm not surprised by it. We all know the incidents between Michael P.S. Hayes, and we all know the type of racialness that WWE has portrayed throughout the many years.
Well, that's and well, P.S. Hayes still has a job. You know, he's there. He's still part of creative. Doesn't matter. So then we might as well point our fingers at the boss, because isn't that how it works? That means, hey, if you're accepting this, then you're also part of the problem. That means you agree with his views.
They've never not agreed with. Of course, they're going to make a statement saying that they don't. But as we all know, remember Crime Time? Remember that Slick Rick thing character with him dancing with fried chicken?
They all did it. They all do it. They all have to make him dance. What's his name? The former GM had to dance. Holla holla. You know, it's just...
Teddy Long. And by the way, I did hear somebody on this particular show said that I remind them of Teddy Long. Now I'm offended by that comment.
Who said that? I didn't say that.
Yeah, we'll get into that another time.
Who said? No, I really. Who did? Dana, you said that?
Oh, I said that.
You see? Look at that.
Mean it like that. Oh no.
Oh man. See, now I'm offended for him. I'm offended for Rich now.
Oh no, I'm sure she didn't mean the dancing part. She didn't mean the dancing.
It was the dance. No, it was Gary and I, and it was
both of you and Gary.
So whenever Gary hears this, just know I'm coming for you also, Gary.
Oh man.
I remember when Vince McMahon said the N-word during Survivor Series 2005.
Yeah.
Wait, who said it? What? Who said it?
Remember, Vince McMahon said it.
Yeah.
Oh, he did.
Remember, in 2005, Survivor Series, after a match that featured Booker T and Chris Benoit, remember he exists, Vince McMahon was talking to then champion John Cena. In character, he says, remember, he starts doing that weird jive turkey dance, and he calls him, he's like, hey, my nigger.
Wait, whoa. By the way, I hope that y'all know people listen to the show. They may be offended by you using that word. So we need to be a little cautious with that use of that word.
For the record.
I don't think so. We all know you're Korean, so you could say whatever the hell you want.
No.
Anyway, so you guys all remember that. He said that.
So I don't know.
I do.
No.
But
Yeah, I do remember
this
that.
is what I'm saying. It's like they say it. It was a different time for them. That they're very relaxed with saying it, and I'm sure their views cross over because a lot of these people that we just talked about, they still have jobs there,
Yep.
and high roles and high positions. So
And
we could,
well, listen, they have jobs there. New Day, they sold a lot of merchandise with this gimmick. They're at the top of, they're one of the more popular acts still on SmackDown. But with all that said, when you have people like Vince McMahon still in control in the old mentality of thinking that these are how these characters should be portrayed, it's caricatures. So that right there is, with that same old level of thinking.
what's Bruce Pritchard says? He said eventually he said it was something to that effect, but then he was joking about it. But they were like, "What is Vince's favorite thing about wrestling and women wrestlers?" It was like chocolate titties.
Whoa.
Did you hear that?
I didn't hear that one.
Oh, that's funny. He says it all the time whenever they talk about Vince and what Vince says about the girls in the back. What does Vince like about the female chocolate titties?
Wait, because this goes into, remember when Kurt Angle was doing that weird bestiality promo with Charmel?
Yeah, I do.
And that's the chocolate part. That it makes sense now.
Yeah.
Jeez,
So,
this is terrible.
That's crazy.
Because they were all that's why, because they were talking about what happened with Jackie and how, remember, she had that wardrobe malfunction here, but he brought it up. Connor asked him, he's like, "Hey, I heard that in the UK it wasn't an accident and it was done intentionally," and he said, "Yes, it was." Because over there they have a different view on nudity, and especially when it comes to the tops, because they do that on public TV out there. It's not a big deal, but here in the States it is a big deal. So yes, it was an accident here, but it was planned over there. And she was asked, because they were talking. It was in the Sable episode, for those who were wondering. If you look up something to wrestle with Sable, they were talking about, because they were talking about female wrestlers at the time, and when she was suing, saying that they were forcing her to do certain things, would talk about her boobs and do the whole thing with the boob job and all that stuff. And that's when they brought up, it's like, but you guys did force certain female stars to show their boobs.
Uh-oh.
That's what Connor had brought up. And he was like, well, we didn't force them, but yeah, we had it written down. And they agreed to do it.
Yeah.
Just not here in the States. It was a different time.
Interesting.
That's what he said. That was his thing. A different time.
All right, so.
All right, so we'll wait. See, that was only the third one. Everybody listen, we have 56 more of these to go. So get some coffee.
Basically, Titus was saying the same thing. He was kind of hurt by his feelings. He wants everyone to know that he did not boycott Extreme Rules. That was a rumor.
Yeah.
He was
he wasn't on the card. You know why? Because it throws everything off. Because we've heard before that Vince's policy is that if you're told to show up at a show and you show up and you see that you're not on the card, you're supposed to stay. You're not supposed to leave. And he left. And when people heard that some of these wrestlers, especially Titus, had left, that's when that rumor spread. Oh, well, he's boycotting, because the policy is you have to stay. Just like the policy is once your match is over, you don't leave. You wait until the entire show is over.
I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah. This is an old rule. I remember this because this is when they also announced that they had to dress professional. Right, and everybody was wearing suits to the arena except John Cena, because they wanted to go with the gimmick, the whole thing of him being the hip hop guy. So it was during the same time, because they were saying that there was a situation where people would just leave. They would just finish a match and leave, and let's say creative wanted to do something else, or they wanted to talk about some of the things that happened during the show, because a post-show meeting. There was nobody around. People would just leave to the hotel. Some people complained, saying, well, I want to hurry up and get a head start to go to the next venue. And it's like, nope, doesn't work that way. You got to stay. So if you're the first match of the night, even a dark match, you got to stay for the remainder 3 hours. Then you can go.
Sheesh.
I don't know if it's still a rule, but I remember they said that they also had to watch the matches. They had to watch the product. And it was like a learning type of thing. They encourage like the young guys, hey, once your match is over, go to the back and then, wash up whatever and then Watch the rest of the matches. Because under the theory, and it's still that way, the more experienced wrestlers, performers, are the ones that are the main eventers. So the ones that aren't so great, you're the earlier part of the show. And then, of course, we got the mid-carder, and we know what that is. And then the ones that are considered the top guys are the main eventers, right? So they should know what they're doing. And so if you want to improve your performance and you want to learn from these guys, they always say, watch tape, watch tape. Well, watch live tape. You know, just go in the back and watch these matches.
Interesting.
So I don't know how much of that still sticks, but we still do see these guys coming down to the ring, you know, showing up every once in a while. They show them in the back, and they are dressed up. You know, we see what Bobby Roode and stuff. He comes down, he still has his suit on, you know. So that tells me it's still protocol.
Yeah, I think so. That's it with the news.
Okay.
Oh wow!
All right, that's good. Then thank you very much for going over all those news topics. Now, only 2 questions that I have to remain to end for tonight's show. The first question is, what did y'all think of Extreme Rules, and what did you think was the overall review of whether, you know, the good and the bad matches on this particular card, if there were any good matches to even talk about? So I'm gonna go with you first, Dana. Let me know, what did you think of Extreme Rules?
Extreme Rules was extremely the second worst pay-per-view of 2018. Good heavens and Lord and Christ, it was so bad.
Oh, that's a good island accent. Damn, look at you go. For a Korean, you're a badass with these accents.
Oh my god. No, it was really bad. Let's the best. I'm gonna surprise. Even though Ronda Rousey isn't doing anything besides just looking angrily and hitting people, she was the most entertaining. I can't explain it. It was weird. But she was very entertaining. And of course, you guys already know I can't stand Booby Lashley. That's his new name. His new name is Booby. I can't stand him. I don't like his existence.
You didn't like those bumps? I mean, that over the top bump, flat back to the outside. Come on now. Not a lot of people can take that type of bump.
I appreciate Kevin Owens for being dead during the match. That was a good match.
Look at how you just rolled right over Bobby Lashley. I just told you he took a worse bump than that one. And you're like, oh, Kevin Owen.
He's learning to take a bump. Yay. Maybe then he can learn.
Oh, man. Did you know, cut this segment out. Cut her part out because the hate is too strong.
I'm not hating. Good for him. Yay. You're learning. You know?
Learning. He's been in the business longer than Roman.
He's learning.
Teaching. He is teaching that boy.
Roman has poor booking and bad mic skills and bad in-ring skills, but he's still more appeasing than Booby Lashley.
Oh man, you like his tattoos. That's what it is.
No, it has nothing to do with his tattoos. And he has the same. They never even changed his outfit from NXT days. He needs a whole
outfit. He doesn't really wear anything.
He wears
that. Wait, you're talking about Roman. I thought you were talking about Bobby, because Bobby just wears his trunks and his headband.
The dumbo headband. What the heck is?
He needs that because we've talked about this, because he has that. Was it alopecia? He doesn't have hair in his body, so he has no eyebrows. So the sweat just gets in his eyes and it burns.
Oh,
that's why he has the headband.
I did not know that.
Yes, so there you go.
Unfortunate.
That's why he wears the headband. Stop the sweat from getting in his eyes.
That's even more offensive than what WWE did. WWE released the poster image for the next pay-per-view. Remember, he's free, not the next pay-per-view. He's facing Roman Reigns, and they drew eyebrows on him.
Well, they just don't want the controversy, because then that's a medical issue. And do you want to have somebody have to constantly explain that?
Brock Lesnar looks like he doesn't have eyebrows.
Brock Lesnar grinds his teeth. Have you seen his teeth? They're tiny. He grinds during the match. I couldn't understand that. You'll see him during the match and he's grinding them. It's like, what are you doing?
gosh. Okay, fine. Okay. Well, let's start here from the beginning. Sorry. Fine. I will give Bobby a 1 out of a 0. Good for you, Bobby. You didn't get any sweat in your eye. But
That came off at some point, so I'm sure he did get some sweat.
yay. Okay, so we're gonna start off with the whole kickoff show. The problem is that I think Sienna and Sin Cara gave a really good match. It's just that nobody cared and no one was really watching. But it was pretty decent. But it was less than what they did in NXT. It was a decent Raw match, if that makes any sense.
Isn't he on SmackDown?
A decent SmackDown match. No, I would say a Raw match because Raw matches suck more than SmackDown.
Oh,
So
okay.
it's a decent Raw match. Sanity and New Day, I think I like their little pairing, and I like them with their feud. I want to see more of it, and I think they did a really good job, but they shortchanged us. Do not call this an Extreme Rules match when you have one table, and the goal is just to get somebody through a table. Remember real Extreme Rules? Remember
Well, we talked about this last time. They should get rid of the name.
Get rid of the name. Call it Bash at the Beach. I want my Bash at the Beach back. So Bash at the Beach is what I'm going to call it.
Bring back Halloween Havoc.
Huh? We have it?
No, bring back Halloween Havoc too, because that was pretty cool. They had that wheel and stuff.
No, I don't want them because that was so good by WWE and Sting that they don't deserve that name. But they can bring back Bash at the Beach. They would disrespect the name of Halloween Havoc. They're pitiful matches. So bring back December to Remember.
Was it December to Dismember?
Dismember. There you go. Dismember. So Back at the Beach, aka Extreme Rules, the Sanity New Day thing. I like their pairing. I don't have any problems with that. I'm extremely, shockingly, very happy that the B team won. I can't explain it, but their happiness made me happy. And we all knew that the whole Bray and Matt Hardy wasn't going to really work out because remember they have injuries, and Bray is still suffering from his injury when he got in a car accident. So I'm very
told
happy.
you I called that. I told you they were going to drop the title.
And I'm happy that they dropped, and I'm happy that the B team won because they need to do something. They wasn't really doing anything, so I'm happy that they did something. The weird Kurt Angle ultimatum to Brock Lesnar, whatever, go screw yourself in the butthole. I don't care. It was horrible. The Finn Balor, Baron Corbin, I really didn't care about the match, but it was still a decent match. But it was just the fact that Finn Balor
finish.
Huh?
They had a clean finish. I was surprised. I don't know why I thought it. Yeah.
They did though, but Finn Balor is still dead inside, and he needs to go to New Japan. Baron Corbin needs to go to the unemployment line. Team Hell No, that whole thing when they was attacked backstage, we all saw this coming. The man's running for re-election. We know he's not going to be around. Carmela and Asuka, that thing was just disrespectful. Ellsworth being there was disrespectful. It's disrespectful. I hated the whole thing. That was terrible. And also, this makes me not even want to have a tag team women's match or an all-female pay-per-view match because right now they're sucking. They are horrible. So that's my thought on that. The Jeff Hardy Shinsuke thing, we all saw that coming, but it was funny, but it was like sad and pitiful all at the same time. But it's the only way that Shinsuke would have gotten that belt because Jeff Hardy was injured. Because we all know how WWE feels about giving Shinsuke belt and Asuka in WWE, not when she was in NXT. That slate is over with.
So you're saying that there's still racism there? Is that what you're saying?
I'm not saying anything about racism.
So,
I'm just did not say race. No, I did not claim any race. I just simply said, one, the way how they treated Asuka and her whole title thing. Yeah, I had no problem with her losing to Charlotte. And we all knew that.
I mean, think about it. Regardless of what she does now, she could lose every damn match. She's going into the Hall of Fame. There's never going to be another female wrestler that's going to hold the belt for as long as she did. That's it.
Probably not. But for the moment, I did not like how they treated the whole thing. I don't like how they're treating her with James Ellsworth. And as you want to do the women's division and equality, and here you are, oh my God, you're cowering because it's James Ellsworth. I don't get it. I just don't understand the logic behind it. And I have nothing to do with anybody's race. I just don't understand the logic behind why they're treating Asuka the way they're treating. The same thing that they do with Shinsuke. Shinsuke deserved the belt a while ago. And we deserve an AJ Styles Shinsuke match that wasn't like, oh, let me punch you in the balls all day long. And we all know because of the CM Punk trial that the wrestlers are the one who designs their matches. It's just the ones they can't choose who wins is how it's designed. So everyone's at fault, in my opinion. So it has nothing to do with race. Everyone's at fault. The Kevin Owens Braun Strowman one was really great. That woke me up. Obviously, Kevin is dead. Remember, there was a weird DX chop. That thing was funny. Also, a Stone Cold Stunner was somehow made an appearance. That was funny. Also, with Owens, the Team Hell No, the Bludgeon Brothers. I really don't care about either one of these tag matches. So it was what it was. Bobby Lashley and Roman Reigns. I'm really shocked that he won. I'm not going to lie. I'm shocked that he won. I didn't want him to win. I'm happy that Roman didn't win. But again, Bobby Lashley, whatever. He exists. Whatever you have to say about that. I don't know whether or not he'll be the number one contender to face Brock Lesnar. Excuse me. I think it'll be really interesting if he did. I don't exactly want him to be, but at the same time, I'm stuck in a conundrum where I don't want it to be Roman Reigns. And remember how we always said anyone but Roman Reigns? This isn't exactly what I wanted. I feel like Wishmaster is somehow a part of this. You know, remember Wishmaster? He's like the little demon thing that takes your wishes but then twists them. So I wanted anyone but Roman, but I did not want Bobby Lashley. The Nia Jax and the whole Alexa Bliss thing, I would have preferred if Nia won. I don't have any problems with Alexa Bliss. It's basically just to do with her personality. And the whole match itself was just horrible. It was just sloppy and it was really horrible. And then Ronda Rousey got involved in it. It was like, okay. But overall, it was just really bad. And the whole kendo stick thing, was like only 2 kendo stick shots. And like, oh, I'm in pain. I'm dying. I didn't like that. AJ Styles and Rusev. Rusev should have won. Again, they just don't like Rusev for whatever reason. I don't know why. It's disrespectfulness. But overall, that was a pretty decent match. Not going to lie there. Dolph Ziggler, Seth Rollins, the sudden death thing was weird. The 30-minute Iron match was good, but it wasn't like, remember when we used to have Iron Man matches and we felt that in our souls and it was really captivating and it was great to watch? This was like high school Iron Man match. So it was forgettable for me. But, you know, good for them for wrestling a whole, 30 minutes? Congratulations. That's it.
All right. I think I'll go next, and I'm going to be very brief. Then I will go to you, Adam. I thought Extreme Rules was complete garbage from start to finish. And let me explain why that is. There were certain things that happened in certain matches that, for me, just killed the match. Let's go ahead and let's start with this Dolph Ziggler-Seth Rollins match. And the fact that they had a segment in there where Drew McIntyre clearly cost Dolph, one of those pinfalls, but then proceeded to keep beating up Seth Rollins, and the ref didn't call any of that because he had already said, Dolph, Drew McIntyre, you now have to leave the arena, or you have to, ban him from ringside. Okay, so he says this to him, and then he proceeds to do 2 more moves on Seth Rollins. And the one thing that I did not like about that match is it's a 30-minute match. All of these pinfalls, and that time, it just was complete ridiculous. It didn't make any kind of sense to me to go through all that. Then, of course, you have it ends up in the tie, and you have Kurt Angle start the match over again. And then once again, here comes Drew McIntyre interfering again, and then that's it. That's how it ends. So obviously, based on what happened on Monday Night Raw, I think it's pretty obvious now. Seth Rollins is stuck in mid-card, and he will be competing for that Intercontinental title once again because there was a tweet that he sent out saying when they said that WWE had something that said, Dolph Ziggler's reign continues, that his feud is over with Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins responded to the tweet and said, no, it's not over yet. So clearly they're going to continue to have a back and forth with these guys. And maybe we'll see Ambrose, if he is cleared to return, perhaps he will team up with Seth and have a tag match against Drew McIntyre and Dolph Ziggler at SummerSlam. Maybe that's the route they're going. We'll have to wait and see. But yeah, that match, very disappointing. I will say I'm glad it was the main event, because I did not want to see Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar in the main event. So that's the one thing that I will give them credit for. They didn't go that route of making Reigns and the main event. But by that same token, I think that the WWE title on SmackDown, that easily could have been the main event, because that is the most important title at this point. Universal title is a joke. So I don't understand why that wasn't the main event. The other thing I will mention, the Carmela Asuka match. That was by far one of the worst matches that I have seen so far this year, because of how they handled it. And of course, people are saying, well, let's not worry about Asuka. She's totally fine now, right? I don't think so. You had her job out on this match, and now we know on SmackDown, Becky Lynch is going to have an opportunity to face, if she beats Carmella this upcoming week, then she's going to get a title shot at SummerSlam. So that will probably end up as a triple threat or a fatal four-way, because Charlotte will be back by then, as well as Asuka. So I can see them having a four-way if they decide to go that route. But I just was not happy with how they did that whole storyline. Well, once again, you saw when James Ellsworth was put into that cage was a lot lower than the last time they had a match like that. So you knew there was going to be something that happened regardless. But I just don't like how they're making Asuka lose these matches when clearly you have Carmella. Carmella still needs a lot of work as a wrestler. So I don't know why they have her as the champion. But maybe we'll find out at SummerSlam if they decide to change that. And I'll go with this. As for the match that I know Adam enjoyed the most, Bobby Lashley and Roman Reigns, the reason why I do not like Bobby Lashley is because he has the exact same finisher as Roman Reigns. Both of these guys with the spear move, it's very boring and played out at this point. Now, I'm glad that Bobby Lashley won the match, but to know that they now went through all this stuff on Raw and now they're going to have a rematch again on Monday, I'm like, it was all a waste in my mind, because we already know Roman Reigns is the guy. Anyone that thinks that he isn't the guy because he loses a match must be crazy, because Vince McMahon loves this guy. Roman has 3 babies to feed, so Vince is going to make sure he always gives him the matches he needs at the top of the card. So obviously, we'll see what happens on Raw this upcoming week. I would say if Reigns doesn't outright win it, then we may see a triple threat. The only thing that I can hope for is that at SummerSlam, Braun cashes in and takes the belt off of whoever has it. So if Reigns loses, fine, or if whatever happens. But I expect to see Braun Strowman leave SummerSlam as champion, because there's no way that Vince can think you're going to have Roman in that match in New Jersey, right? This is where New York. This is where SummerSlam is taking place with that particular crowd, and think you're going to get cheers. You already know people are not going to be cheering for Reigns like that. There's going to be a lot of people booing. So I think the only route that you can go is to have Braun Strowman cash in and take that belt, so that will prevent people from booing ridiculously throughout the whole match. But we'll see. But as I said, I was not impressed with this particular pay-per-view. I feel like WWE, this is one of the only companies where you have so much talent on that roster, and then you just always put a half-ass effort into actually making use of the roster and doing some good with it. So we'll see what happens. But Adam, the floor is now yours. Let me know what you thought about the pay-per-view.
Well, I'll just start from that one, because you just started. Well, I think they can't go that route again with Braun Strowman just cashing in, because they did that with Seth when Seth did it against him. It's just rehashing, and I agree. Yeah, they see him as the guy, but they don't have him feuding with a heel. They have him feuding with a babyface. If you're trying to get this guy over, you don't have him feuding with a babyface. So I have a feeling Bobby is going to win this because it is a shocking moment. You heard the crowd's reaction. They heard the crowd's reaction when Roman got pinned. The crowd erupted. They were thrilled. So at this point, WWE in a weird way is trolling the crowd. They're trolling it because they already know. They're like, well, if he loses, then like you said, he's still going to win it. But if he loses 1 or 2 matches here and there, then, we end off on a high note because people are cheering, especially if you're doing it with a baby face.
Yeah.
So my thing is, I think Roman is going to lose. Bobby's going to win. It's going to give something fresh, a new match type, new material so they can build the video packages and hype it up. And that's why I think they're going to bring up the fact that Bobby has a better MMA record. He's had a lot more fights. So they can definitely play that off. They're both big guys. Vince likes big men. That's the only other reason why I think it's going to happen. He's a big dude. Another reason, like I said earlier, they owe him one. They owe Bobby one. They screwed him the last go around. They knew they screwed up with him, and this is like, hey, we're gonna make right. And as much as you may say, oh no, that's not true, he's there. He's relevant right now. Think about it. We're talking about him, and he's in that #1 contender spot right now. He's there. He's there for a reason. So they brought him back for a reason.
There's one question I just want to ask, and I think Dana was going to say something, but I just want to ask this question. If Bobby Lashley is the guy they want to put in the main event, then what the hell is Roman Reigns going to do at SummerSlam? There's no way he's not going to be on a major match.
Oh, he'll have another match. They'll figure something out, or they'll do the worst thing, and it's something that Brock doesn't want to do. No one wants to do because he's just tired of Roman. They'll do a triple threat.
Yeah, I think the triple threat is.
They do the triple threat, but Bobby's going to win this one. Bobby will win. He'll be the one that pins, whether he pins Roman or he pins Brock. And anything can happen after that. Maybe we see Strowman come in and cash in and do that type of thing against Bobby to take it off of him. But at least he won. He was the one to beat Brock, or do that type of thing. But the whole, I don't think you guys understand how long this match between Bobby and Lesnar has been in the works. Heyman has been tweeting this for years, trying to get this match to happen because he's close. They're all good friends. He's been wanting Bobby. He's like, man, Bobby, if you ever come back, you're gonna be here for Roman. You're gonna be here with Brock. This is the match we need to see. This is the match that's gonna happen. And he was like, hey, we'll see. We'll see if it ever happens. This is the dream match. This is the dream match. So this has to happen. And they know it. WWE knows it. And the fact that they brought him in and they gave him this push this fast just shows it. They want him to have this match. And if it's true that Brock is going to go back to the UFC, get ready for that. And this is going to be his last match for who knows how long. It only makes sense.
I think if I can take a page out of Dana's book, I do believe you are right. It is a dream match. It is a dream match for Dana because she will be falling asleep when they have this match.
She can fall asleep. But you guys even said it yourself. Roman is the top guy. And what do we know about top guys? Top guys don't need the belt. Top guys are top guys. They've been chosen. It's like a made man. It's like you're going to be relevant no matter what. You put the belt on somebody that you're trying to get over. They don't need to put the belt on him because they already know the reaction they're going to get. They want a new reaction. They want something different. And that if Bobby winning that would be a different reaction. That match between Bobby and Brock, that's a match that could sell. It's new. Think about this. If you go and you try to sell it again, Roman versus Brock, it's like, what is this back to back? You will get guaranteed boos, especially in New York. And they know it. They know it.
But hold on.
So that's my thing with that. That's what's going to happen. And that's why I was happy with that ending. I was happy with the clean finish because the last thing I need is to see some weird mishap and that they make Bobby do something dirty, throw the ref, or do something that's out of character.
I would prefer a dirty Bobby.
So there you go. So then that's it. That's the way I feel about that. And the only other match that I liked besides that, I didn't give two shits about the Iron Man match. That was pointless. The whole thing was pointless. Oh yeah, go back in. We need a clean finish. Well, you just had Drew who was ejected, and he comes back. He interferes. How does that even count?
Yeah,
he should have been there. He was already ejected.
Exactly. And one quick thing I will say before you continue, just when you think about Iron Man matches, and we know we've seen good Iron Man matches in the past, this was not to that standard at all. That's why I said it was disappointing.
No.
So
it was bad. It was bad. And so I didn't even care. I was like, all right, whatever. There goes that. The match that I found interesting, and it wasn't so much that it was a good match, but it was a shocker, and that was the Strowman Owens match. To see Owens take a bump like that from the top, a backside bump. People don't understand. It's one thing like we saw with the crazy King of the Ring match and the one with Mick Foley getting tossed off the top. But he went forward and then tilt to the side. He saw his landing. Owens went backwards on this. He didn't see that landing. That's all Strowman saying, okay, all right, let me make sure I give enough push, or just make sure I guide you in the right way so that you don't fall on the edge of that table, because that's where it could forget about falling just flat back on the mat. But if he would have landed right at the edge of that table, shit, that would have been a mess.
So is it safe to say that Strowman is a heel now, because the way they portray him as a bully with these last couple of weeks in this match as well? To me, I would want to cheer for Kevin Owens after all of this.
He's in the same boat, and it's sad to say he's in the same boat as Big Show, where they flip-flop constantly. Heel, babyface, heel, babyface. That's why no one gives a shit about Big Show anymore. They don't take him serious because he's flipped so many damn times.
Yeah.
And now they're doing it with Strowman. They don't know what to do with him. 1 minute they're pushing him as a babyface, next minute they're putting him as a heel. Remember, he was destroying Roman, but they liked that because they hate Roman. So then it sort of pushed him back into babyface. So then they're like, all right, we'll go with the babyface. And then, he starts tagging in the kid and doing that whole thing. And then they're like, all right, that's all right, we're moving on. We want him to do the babyface thing. I mean, the heel thing, and we're going to make Owens a babyface out of nowhere. Because Owen was the heel just like a week before that. Next you know, he's running shitless like, I want to be your friend. I want to be a friend. And I thought that was like a swerve job. I was like, he's doing it just to mess with him. And then, nope, week after week, it looks like it's not. So
it's a
I
lot
didn't
of
understand it. It's a lot of flip-flop. Again, they don't seem to know what they're doing. And that's why it's like, if he gets the belt, if he cashes in, he gets the belt, then I don't know, what are we getting? Are we getting the good heel version, babyface version of Strowman? Who knows? We don't know. And although with Roman involved in that mix, doesn't even matter at this point because he gets booed no matter what. And we already know he's going to be a top guy. So he's whoever has the belt, if it's not Roman, he's still going to be relevant. I mean, he's the only guy in the history that I know of that keeps referring to the place as his yard, and the announcers agree, but yet he loses all the big matches. He has not won that title. But yeah, he keeps referring to holding it's his yard, and then Cole's like, yeah, this is his yard. Huh? What? No, this is Brock's yard if you want to go that way. He's the champ. But whatever. And I have a feeling this is it. This will be Bobby. Bobby will win. And then that was it. Those are the only two I liked. That cage, the shark cage, and all that stuff, we knew what was going to happen. We knew he was going to interfere. We knew he was going to drop down some stuff, and we knew that it was going to be a squash. That's it. That's the whole point. Because Carmela, she's just not on that level. She was never on that level. Not like the other girls that came up. She came up after them, but she wasn't ready. She just wasn't ready, and she's still not ready. She's not ready to carry a match like that with Asuka.
That's true. But in WWE's eyes, we gotta put her at the top.
Well, they had to put her on the top because she is good on the mic. She's good on the mic, and that's what it comes down to. And that's the reason why they brought back Ellsworth. They're like, well, what does a heel need? A heel needs a manager to help him win, and her manager pretty much is Ellsworth. He's the one that's doing all the other stuff. I was surprised by that mixed match that they were going to have. I thought there was going to be a legit match, but he didn't even get one punch in. He just takes the ass whooping. So they haven't gone in that direction because I thought that would have been funny. The first time we actually see a legit in a long time since China. So they didn't go down that road. And then that was it. The other matches, nothing mattered. Nothing cared. It was just embarrassing to see the Jeff Hardy one. That was just a waste.
Well, let me ask a quick question. What do you guys think about the return of Randy Orton?
Didn't care.
I
don't care.
I think that no one saw that coming because the last I heard, this guy was getting surgery, so I figured, oh, he's gonna be away for a while. But now you got him coming back. So, and then to go off of the Jeff Hardy thing, you saw SmackDown and you saw the ass whooping that Jeff Hardy received after his match with Shinsuke Nakamura by Randy Orton. So, I would assume that they are going to have a triple threat, and I thought that Jeff Hardy was taking time off, but
that's what they said he was going to take them, because he came out and even said that his back is all banged up and he's not doing a swanton at house shows.
Yeah, but he did it on SmackDown, so
well, that's a TV, that's a live show.
Yeah,
but I thought he was going to take time also to heal, but he just recently came back from that shoulder surgery, so I guess he's like, you know what, I'm just going to work through this and get hooked back on painkillers and stuff and take it from there. Because that's what happens. You know, it's so sad to see that 24 special and talking about, well, it's good to be back with my brother, good influence on me, going to keep me on track. That sounds all great. Guess what? You guys are getting split up. What? Yeah, we're splitting you guys up, and not only are you splitting you up, but you're going to go to SmackDown, you're going to be traveling with a different crew, and you're going to stay on Raw. Yeah, that contradicts everything you just talked about on this 24 special. So I hope he does have some friends in the back to keep him on the right path.
Hopefully,
especially if he's in pain, because that was the issue all in that 24. Remember, they said I was beat up, my body was beat up, constantly. I needed time off. I wasn't taking the time off that I needed, and I was resorting to the painkillers and drinking. I was on a destructive path. Let me see. You're separated from your brother again. You're constantly wrestling in pain again. What's missing?
They were popping pills. So him being with his brother isn't necessarily a good thing. I mean, it was both.
But his brother's cleaned up. Usually, Matt's a completely different Matt.
Yeah,
completely different Matt.
We'll see what happens with Matt, because looks like that little Matt Hardy Bray Wyatt thing is about to be over soon.
Good. He doesn't need it. He doesn't need it. Matt doesn't need it, and Bray doesn't need it. They don't need it. They're such It's such strong characters for themselves. They're so strong. Think about it. You still got the Firefly thing going on every time he comes down. Win or lose, people like the character. Matt is so over the top with the delete and the broken, the woken gimmick. He doesn't need it. They're fine by themselves. Let them go back to being kooky and messing with people's heads. They don't need to be a tag team. That threw me off when they did the tag team thing.
Hey, wait, hold on. You was one of the main people saying, I love this team.
No. I wanted them to do the whole group thing where he has a crew, sort of like the way we're doing with Sanity or something like that. I don't want a tag team. I thought it was going to be Jeff, Brother Nero, and then you're going to have Bray, and Bray was going to come in all crazy because he went into the lake. But they didn't go down that road. They just made him a normal tag team. There was nothing special about it. And that upset me, because that's not what I wanted.
And they didn't bother changing anything about Bray Wyatt's character.
Nope. And I wish we knew somebody at the Performance Center. What happened with Crazy Steve? Crazy Steve signed with them, and that was the guy who wore like the Joker makeup and was all crazy, and he was also part of that whole deletions gimmick stuff that they were doing in TNA. They signed his ass a long time ago.
That's easy. Vince thought it was too crazy and said, "Nope, we don't have nothing for you, so we're not going to use you right now."
That's it. For all I know, he got released already.
You're not going to see everyone because they can't figure out what to do with anyone.
But that's how you figure it out. That's how you do it. You team them up with somebody and just have them part of the group. It's just like, that's it. They get some time. Remember Raven's Flock? That's what you do with these groups. You just link them along. Who's this guy? Oh, that's one of his henchmen. That's one of his goons, whatever. They get out there. You don't have to put them in a big story.
Scenario.
So that was it. But those were the highlights. Those two matches for me were the highlights. The Strowman and now the one. And everything else just felt like generic. And what do you expect? I mean, we're getting a lot of pay-per-views now. We're getting a lot of events. Everything feels rushed. And it's too much on the creative team. Maybe they don't have enough creative, but then again, it doesn't even matter because Vince makes final decision anyway. So it's tough. It's a tough job. It's a tough business. It's a circus, with storylines. We'll have to wait and see. But all we can do is come up with our own predictions, and I predict Bobby's going to win. Whether he pins Brock or Roman, he's going to be the champion, even if it's for a week. you know, and then loses it, or even a few minutes and Braun comes in. But I have a feeling they're going to use it, because then that's just another feather they could put in his profile, so that way they could stop referring to him as the old ECW champ. You know, because that's the belt that he had is no longer relevant right now. And if he's going to be part of the main roster guys, if he's going to be a main event, they got to give him something new, something else to talk about. So
I say we'll certainly see what happens. But I think because of Vince doing all of this to get Reigns over, to get Reigns to make himself, to give himself validation of beating Brock, I think for that reason, I have to believe that Roman Reigns is leaving SummerSlam. Well, at least he's going to win and pin Brock, and then whatever happens after that is fair game. But we'll see what happens.
You can't do that in New York, is what I'm saying. If they got to give somebody else has to win that, and he could try to win or challenge them the next night or wherever. No, in fact, they're still going to be in New York Raw. But that New York crowd, they know it. They know it. They're going to boo the entire match. They will boo the entire match. Every time he's even on screen, they're just going to boo. So they have to change it up. And like I said before, he doesn't need the belt. He doesn't need it. He's already been a made man. He's chosen. So he doesn't need it. Bobby needs it. And Bobby, they'll get the reaction. They'll get the highlights. They'll get all of that. You know, the crowd will be happy. They'll get the cheers. They won't have to worry about people walking out and booing and throwing shit at the ring.
I'm walking out.
You're walking out. There you go.
Uh-oh.
I'm telling you.
She's walking out.
That's it. And it'll be okay. But you can't do that. You can't do that in New York. Can't do that in New York. Can't do that in Philly. You know, these are areas that they already know. Very vocal areas.
We'll see.
And there you go.
All right, so any final thoughts before we wrap up tonight's show?
Just watch Lucha Underground, people. That shit is so crazy. This season is so crazy. They've gone over the top.
Okay. How about you, Dana?
No, also New Japan and a Ring Honor. And Lucha is crazy too. It doesn't make any sense. It's so crazy.
That's the whole thing. It's just so out there. If you want to see something that doesn't even make any kind of sense, like it's just, I mean, they killed the midget. They smashed his head in, and there's blood squirting in the guy's mouth and stuff. What is going on? It was so nuts.
Yeah, it's a good show. It's weird. You just have to accept the weirdness and just go with it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Just watch it as a TV show that has wrestling involved in it.
Yep. Indeed.
Like, I just noticed that Antonio Cueto, he's wearing contacts, right? His eyes?
I think so.
That he looks like he's dead. Like is that supposed to be? Because I thought at first, I'm like, oh, he's supposed to be playing a really old guy. And then when I watched this week, I actually looked up at the TV show. I'm like, I think he's wearing contacts. He's supposed to be looking like he has two black, like almost like he's dead-eyed. I was like, oh, I didn't even realize that. So is he dead?
I think he is.
You gotta watch it. Yeah, good.
Let's see. Yes,
All right.
That concludes our show for this week. So we thank you all for listening. And we will talk to you all next week.
Peace.
Peace.